Hi, this is Peter Baracki, author of Crystal Lake Memories, and welcome to the cast commentary for Friday the 13th, Part 2. And joining me are Russell Todd,
Hey there, it's Russell Todd here. It's great to be here.
Lauren Marie Taylor,
Hi, everybody. Loving being here.
Bill Randolph,
Well, I, with those two introductions, I can't help but being happy to be here too.
Stu Charno,
Hello, this is Stu. I played Ted.
and, and Kirsten Baker.
Hi, you guys. I'm Kirsten Baker, and I played Terry.
So, actually, a quick little trivia note. I don't know if you guys know on the screen right now, you see those pair of legs that are walking? This is the only time in the entire Friday the 13th series that Jason was played by a woman. Those are actually Ellen Lutter, the costume designer's legs.
Wow.
I know that. That's very cool.
Yeah.
Let me tell
that
you,
is cool.
those look like female feet.
So I ruined it for you guys now. There you go.
Did they?
Well, also, don't forget the child who's singing "Itsy Bitsy Spider." Those feet are not child's feet. I taught first grade for 10 years, and that is not a child's set of feet.
Really? Huh. I wonder who
No,
they are then.
All this
I don't
behind
know.
the scenes magic. It's incredible.
Mm-hmm.
So here we are watching footage, of course, from the first movie. How familiar were you guys with Friday the 13th when you got the roles in the movie?
Well, I did because I was a big fan of Friday the 13th, the original. And when I saw they were casting this, I said, oh, wow, I would love to be part of that. Of course, it wasn't a giant franchise at that point. It was just one singular movie, but it was terrific. And it scared the hell out of me like everyone else. And it was very entertaining. So when I had the chance, I jumped at it.
Wow.
Yeah, I didn't hear. I just was. I think I'm Kirsten. I'm Terry. I just got a call from directly from Steve Miner, and at the
Wow.
time, yeah, and but I'd done some stuff before, and I'd done a couple leads and some silly stuff, and then done some little parts in big movies and big parts in little movies, and so I was then surfing or going to school at UCLA studying art and architectural history. So I was out of the game. I don't know how he found me, but I got this phone call, and the next thing I knew, I was like in the car with Frank Mancuso Jr., who was later produced all these big films. But that time, he was the same age, and so you can just imagine. I forgot my sleeping bag, and of course, we were going to this summer camp. He said, "Didn't they tell you needed a sleeping bag?" And I said, "Dude, no way." And so he went back and got my sleeping bag and got it on the plane. Put me on the plane first, and my sleeping bag and my pillow came next. And I told him, it's at my house under the key, under the. So anyway, he found it, and that
Now,
was
I just have one question. Frank Mancuso Jr.
Junior.
Did
Yeah,
he have a wonderful car?
I think so. I mean, he was really a rich guy that was just
Yeah, I know because
rich little guy that was trying to prove himself. He was a PA on our shoot.
he
He
showed up.
was a
He showed
runner.
up. I know he showed up on set with this unbelievable car, and it was like,
Uh-huh.
the hell is this guy?
Yeah. That's the car I think he took me up in, and I was like, man, where'd he get this car? This is big production. And I went, Paramount. Yeah, dude, man, we got some money behind us. I was kind of scared. I was like, whoa, this will be good.
Wait, was that my yellow Volkswagen that he showed up
Yeah,
in? Vicky's little yellow Volkswagen?
No, he wasn't the one with a little Volkswagen. He had like a Stingray or God knows something else.
yeah, but she had a Volkswagen. She shows up in this yellow Volkswagen, right? Don't you? In the Lauren? Don't you in the
Yeah,
movie?
yeah. Yeah, well, I didn't actually show up in it because I couldn't drive, which drove it drove Steve Miner a little bit crazy. He's like, you can't just drive it down the hill. I said, no, I'm from New York City. We don't get driver's licenses in New York City.
There's the
This was
good.
my first movie. I was not an actor. I was a musician. I was
Awesome.
Really?
a jazz piano player,
I
And a
remember
very
that,
good one.
Stu.
Very good one.
Yeah.
and
One of
and I
many
kept
things.
playing. But I didn't. I never thought I was going to be acting. It happened accidentally.
Yeah, I had not seen the first. movie at all. I'm a big horror movie person, but I did not see it. And when they cast us in the movie, they brought us into a viewing room to watch the movie so that we knew what we were getting into, if you will. And all I can remember was like, oh my God, do they really kill people? I don't remember seeing these actors ever again. And of course, after that, obviously Kevin Bacon was, huge person, especially in New York theater. But no, hadn't seen the first one until they showed it to us.
Well, living on the Upper West Side and certainly starting out in New York City with, all these other aspiring actors, Kevin Bacon being one of them. And we actually used to go bowling on the Upper West Side. So when he was in the film, I knew he was in the film, and I had seen it before the casting for Part 2. And then, of course, realized that I was going to be playing his clone in Part 2. And so, yeah, that was cool. You know.
Yeah, I mean, we grew up on things like Jaws and The Exorcist. So this was a completely different ball game for us because people our age were being killed at a summer camp. It was completely different than The Omen and, like I said, Jaws. Later on, obviously, The Shining, movies like that, the horror thriller genre.
And of course, it was such a surprise to have teenagers together having sex on screen.
Or not. Or
And
not. Sorry, Bill.
Listen, that was, you had to talk to the script writer on that one.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you preferred it that way. I don't know. I guess it makes you very unique in the film.
Yeah. I used to go to camp as a kid, and thank God that was years before I saw something like this, or I would have had a very different feeling being out in the wilderness.
I will say my husband and I were big on camping up in the Adirondacks. And whenever I had to go off and do business in the woods, I swear I was looking behind myself all the time after filming this movie because I thought, okay, what are the rules of the horror movie? Look behind you, don't go anywhere in the dark. And if you hear any sounds, get out of there. And here we are in the Adirondacks, and I'm hearing everything you hear in a horror movie. Luckily, there wasn't a lake with a canoe like that.
Well, it's funny. I'm dating myself, but I was 11 years old when this movie came out. And, people forget back then you didn't have the internet. And so, like, things like this, like nudity and sex and violence were really, like, titillating and exciting because you couldn't see it. Like, now I think, right, kids can just go online and type a few keys and see anything.
Yeah. Very different.
Yeah. Well, Bill, I think you have who has the youngest of all of our kids at this moment in 2020? Am I dating us right now by saying that? But who has the youngest kids?
Well, I know my son is 17.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody have younger children?
Nope.
Nope.
Wow.
And it's interesting because certainly, I never showed him the film, but
I didn't either with mine.
There was one point where we were talking to one of the, school secretaries or something like that, and Thompson said, oh, have you seen my father in Friday the 13th Part 2? And I said, well, when did you see it? He said, oh man, I saw it a long time ago. So he saw it a lot earlier than I thought he did.
I had a similar reaction when my older daughter was having sleepovers. One of her friends kept staring at me. And I said, Katie, why is she staring at me? She goes, I don't know. Maybe she likes you, Ma. Maybe she thinks you're pretty. And the next day, Katie came up to me and said, were you in a horror movie? And I thought, oh gosh, okay, I have to go here. And she was maybe 11 or 12 years old at the time.
Yeah.
I said, yeah, yep, I was. And she said, how come all of my friends know this, but I don't? And I said, well, it's a scene in the cabin where I spray a part of my body. And that's why you have not seen this movie, not to mention all the blood.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense, yes.
Well, yeah, it's funny because as a kid, I remember, my parents and grandparents like, "You're too young to watch that." So I can imagine now, as a parent, it must be really freaky because 11 years old seems young, but at the time, it's exactly what 11-year-olds wants to see is a movie like this.
Yeah.
Like this
And
is the prime age for.
parents spend a lot of time protecting their kids, shielding them from certain things. But what we don't realize, or we do, is that they're seeing it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's no matter what we try to do, it's all a load of crap. They do whatever they want anyway.
Yeah, and I think the weird thing is, as parents of victims in horror movies, there is that weirdness where they see their quote parent being killed in a horror movie. And even though it's our younger selves playing teenagers, when they're that young, they may not react the same way as they will if they're, like Thompson's age, 17 years old.
Yeah, I never thought of that. It must be weird to see your parent killed on screen. That would, especially if you're young, that would be traumatic, I would imagine.
It's weird enough
It
seeing
is.
yourself, right? It's weird enough seeing yourself be killed.
Yeah, it is weird. And my kids saw me killed in this movie, in Girls' Night Out, and then they also saw me get killed on the soap opera. So mom is they're running rampant at this point as teenagers because mom's been killed.
Did you guys all like meet up before shooting started and like hang out to like, kind of create
No,
chemistry, or how did that work?
we
No.
didn't know each other. We
No.
became friends on the shoot,
Mm.
really good
Yeah.
friends. We were really supportive of one another. There was never any trouble. We just like were pros instantly, right, Stu?
Totally.
We knew not to get in trouble, right?
And here's the other thing that's interesting is when you look at the credits of the movie at the end, they credit the background actors, which is something that doesn't happen
Yeah.
normally. But because all the other counselors who had maybe a line, a little under five here and there, they were credited and they stayed at the camp with us.
There we are. Bill Randolph,
Yeah.
Lauren Marie Taylor, Russell Todd.
That's so funny. You guys are all three
It
together in
was,
the same class.
That's terrific.
yeah, we were in alphabetical order for that. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really care for that order. Just
To me, I love that card. It looks great.
guys, how long did we actually? Was this a 2 or 3 week shoot overall?
I
No.
thought no, it was like 6 or 8 weeks.
Were we there that?
Yeah, it was definitely 6 to 8 weeks,
Wow.
depending on, yeah, what scenes you were in.
Right.
And then they just kind of, contractually, they kept us around.
I mean, that was the thing that was so cool was because we stayed at a boys' camp that was fairly civilized, about a mile or about a
What a
mile or
miracle.
so about a mile or so around the lake from the location,
That's right.
and we were all up there together for 8, 6, 8, 10 weeks.
Yeah, try not to get in trouble ourselves.
Yeah, really.
That was really the underpinning of the show of a bunch of 20-year-olds in the 1980s when it was like, love the one you're with. You know what I mean?
A little story about this truck. As big as this truck was, they actually had a bigger truck that and when they showed up on the side of the road with this huge truck, that was the wheels were literally probably about a foot larger than the wheels on this truck,
Crazy round.
and
Yep.
So that's
they couldn't get that truck to start. What
oh
they took it off of the flatbed and never could get it started, and the truck that we used, somebody was just driving by in their truck,
Oh,
and we used that truck instead.
that's wild.
improv right on the moment. The movie was like that though. We got
It
we
was.
had something that was better than what we had, or something didn't work. We just all climbed and just grabbed it and used it. We threw it in. And Steve Martin was great about that too.
He was. He was a lot of fun.
He was
He
a great
was.
surprise the way he would. Wow, yeah.
Hey,
So
Bill,
you guys
when
are.
was the last time you used a phone booth?
That phone booth does not exist.
Yeah.
That was a movie prop.
Really? That was
Nice.
Yes.
created in the art department?
Well, I don't know, but they basically plopped it there for the movie, and you know, where fans take pictures of the locations, and there's no phone booth to be found.
Wow, yeah. So the art department brought that in, huh?
Yeah.
You guys looked beautiful together. It was the perfect couple
Yeah.
for a horror movie. And any movie, you guys were perfect together. I could see you guys doing a rom-com. You know, if it had been the age of rom-com, it would have been beautiful to see the two of you together. He was the head of stunts, right? The dude driving that truck.
Yeah.
Cliff Cudney, right?
Yeah, Cliff.
Yes, Cliff.
Welcome to God's country.
There he is.
Look at that. He looks so great. You know, there are a couple of places in the film, like right there when we go running at Stu, where for some reason, you know, we're directed to go or look in a different position. You know, supposedly it's to you know, that it helps continuity or something.
Mm-hmm.
And the two times that they had us do that, or had me do that, both times I'm looking in the wrong direction.
Oh,
And it cuts to the next scene. He said, "What the hell was he looking at?" The same thing happens later in the film. Later in the film, when Sandra, Marta takes off her top and throws it at me when I'm playing the harmonica, and they had me looking in a direction, and she comes out of the blue. I'm looking like in left field, and she comes out of right field.
that's a major continuity thing. Yeah.
Oh man, it just drives me crazy.
Hey, Bill, were you really driving the truck here,
Oh,
or were
absolutely.
they pulling you guys?
No, no, we were driving. They had, you know, actually, yeah, I'm pretty sure that they had everything. You know, that's a very good question, and I can't truly remember. I can't remember whether they mounted the camera on top, or I know that they weren't towing us. So I don't know whether they must have mounted the camera on the hood.
Hey, Russell, as a person who does the Steadicam guy stuff, you know, you're really big with those guys. What do you think happened here? What is your take?
What happened regarding if it's a use of Steadicam? What do you mean?
Yeah, like was the camera maybe on the front of the truck, or do you think that U-Haul was pulling the truck to make it look like Bill
It
was driving?
it can be done either way, and both will look exactly the same. So both are effective. So we really have
I
to rely on your memory, Bill.
I know that I was driving. I just don't know whether the camera was in a truck in front of us or whether it was mounted on the hood.
Oh, right.
It looks as though it was mounted on the hood
Yeah.
because I don't
Yeah,
think they were using a steady cam in the back of a truck.
They could, but maybe not in that scene.
Right.
yeah. I don't know if you guys remember, but Frank Mancuso Jr. had said that they didn't have the Steadicam at the beginning. They really pushed to get a little bit more money for it. So he believes it showed up mainly for the night stuff, and most of the daytime was not Steadicam. But I don't know if that jives with your recollections of it.
Yeah, that seems to be probably more accurate because I'm pretty sure that it wasn't that complicated when we had the truck. And the thing that was interesting about the truck is that the truck that they actually had for the scene, they brought on a flatbed, and the truck was like twice as big. The tires were twice as big. It's this gigantic thing, and it wouldn't start. They got it off the flatbed and it wouldn't start. And the truck that we ended up using just happened to be somebody who was driving by, in a truck like that, and they conned him into letting us use the truck.
There it is. I love that. You have such a nice
And
butt.
oh, he hit the other cheek. And I turn around anyway, and forget
Man,
continuity
man, I
problems.
love that wink.
The two of you with your eyes are just gorgeous.
Oh, thank you, Lauren.
I mean, Bill had these amazing muscles, but you had the eyes, you and Russell.
Oh, Russell's eyes, my
Stu had
God.
the ginger hair, which we all love.
And a hot body too, man. Stu was like rocking hot.
Okay, I'm going to say this right off the bat here. I think our movie had the handsomest guys. Just putting it out there. No, look at you guys. You were all so handsome.
And the
I had
women,
crushes on all of you, just so you know. I
we
had
had,
crushes on all of you.
and the women were fantastic. Also, the women were great. It was a
Yeah.
good combination,
Nah.
good
You're
group.
you're talking about Crazy Ralph, right?
Yes,
Yes, I am. Yes, absolutely. He
he
was the
is.
hottest of all. When he
Look at
was
that face. How
he,
can you not?
rocking the bicycle,
Look at that.
rocking
Look
the
at that. Should
bicycle,
have
and
been
rocking the
team
pork pie.
Do you guys ever talk with Walt Gorney at all, or interact with him?
No,
No.
no.
It's funny because even though I had that scene with him, in the telephone booth,
Yeah.
he there was no small talk. He
Right.
came, he did his job, and he left. I never saw him before a shot. I never saw him after a shot.
Of course, there's Amy and John. Did you guys? What were your memories of working with Amy and John Fury?
I don't know.
Listen to our silence. Isn't that kind of weird? And that's a little weird.
It's
Um,
no, it's very interesting because the two of them are separate in the film, and they're
mhm,
like the head honchos and the whatever. And the same thing was true on set. I don't think on set
mhm.
I had any real you know conversations with John. I didn't really get to know John until we started doing conventions years later.
Yes.
I mean, I spent a little time talking to them when we were off camera, and I mean, both very, very nice people, so down to earth and easy to get along with. Charming. I thought they were really nice to be with, nice to work with.
And let me tell you, John Fury, that is the most beautiful hair I've ever seen in my life.
They were both
You
so
too,
beautiful and
Russell. Your hair was
being a
was fantastic. It was
I'm
unbelievable.
talking about now, Bill.
Oh,
yeah, they were a beautiful couple, and I remember just putting my insecurity as Lauren on my character on Vicky during this movie. So I'm not saying I'm like a total method actor, but I am sort of. And just being intimidated by Amy and John in their characters, it 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 was a weird experience for me because I always felt less than them.
You never
And
did that. You were always beautiful and talented. You never should have done that.
well, you're very sweet, but also what it did it played into, you know, how we lived on set too. I don't know about you guys, but the girls were living in the cabins, and I don't think they did. I think they lived in a different area with Steve Miner and everybody else. I don't
Wow.
think they lived in the camp with us.
yeah,
I don't recall
I don't,
seeing them
I have
on
no
camp.
I have no recollection. And of course, they were on set 99% of the time, but
That's true.
but
Yeah.
I have no recollection of where, they came home and which cabins they were in. I don't remember that at
Yeah.
all.
I had so much fun with you guys rehearsing with this campfire scene. Where's Stu?
Here it
It was
is.
cold that
No.
night. It
It
was
was.
cold.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
We shot through like, two seasons there. We started when it was hot, and then it started getting
Hmm.
cold, and the leaves were turning.
when they
Yeah.
when they have the turnaround shot of Sandra and I, both of our noses are red
Hmm.
Why?
because
It
we're
got it
cold.
got
We're
cold.
freezing.
Oh,
And you know what? We shot this in Kent, Connecticut, which
I
is not
know.
really that far north. It's not like you're going into Maine or anything like that.
Kind of
But
felt
it
like it to
was it
me.
It was cold because it was already early, about to go into fall.
Yeah, that was so
Right.
beautiful. Ah, like it was gut strikingly beautiful to see the seasons, be in those seasons, and feel and breathe and see those leaves. And I was in it, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, from California, you probably loved it.
I did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we take it so
Changes.
much for granted here on the East Coast when
Yeah, we do.
the colors change.
Oh, you guys have it good in so many ways. I was always jealous of you in New York. Like these guys get together and I don't. But
Uh,
Steve and I were still friends. Stewie and I, we stayed together, as friends. We got together and did Xingyi, and he was a good teacher. And
So
you know,
glad.
he had a
So glad.
Chinese martial art that made him like into a master, and he already was a musician, and so just like, where is Stu now in this movie right now?
Well, I
Dear
don't know.
God.
Look at how intense he is right now.
See,
Oh,
look
look at
how
us.
red our noses are. Our noses are bright red.
You are, yeah, it's
You
too
guys are
much. You're
so
too cold.
cute.
yeah.
So adorable.
Really cute.
True.
Look at Lauren's face looking up at
I
John.
know. Look
I'm,
at
She's so
ghost
serious.
stories and
and look
me.
at Amy.
Um,
Amy too.
she is. She's very serious. Very.
Oh!
Yeah.
See, there's that Shingy body I'm talking about. Oh, that red hair. It's
It was
gorgeous.
so cold.
Luckily, you
Is that
had
why your
like
nips were
cover.
up?
I thought I was the only one that noticed.
Do
Oh,
you guys
John
remember
and
how long
me.
you shot days and how long you shot nights? Because then you switch, right, halfway through about from days to nights.
Wow.
Well, I don't know.
It
That's a
was
good
always
question.
mixed up. It's a good question. I feel like it was always mixed up. Like some of us shot at night, some of us, it's like, okay, your call time is 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Right.
Um, we
Yeah.
most obviously it's a horror movie, so we mostly shot at night. Um,
Yeah.
but the early scenes that we did during the day, like Lakefront, those were done early when we first got there, and they were done during the day.
Right. We shot
But
in
before it got
sequence
too
then.
cold,
Right.
yeah, we shot in sequence, and it was before it got too cold. We did those lakefront things.
Yeah.
So, Kirsten, what were you drawing there?
I was writing a letter to a friend and Scott came in and interrupted me.
Oh,
I was
I thought
writing
you.
like a sexy thing to my friend. I was flirting with a friend and thinking
Uh-huh.
about what to
Oh,
write next.
really?
And then he comes and interrupts me with this cute dog. And I'm like, oh, he's cute. Look at his. Wait, what? Are his eyes that pretty? Are his eyelashes that long? This guy, I'm gonna get him to chase me. I'm gonna go swimming. Just watch. And he's gonna, and then I'm not gonna think about anything else. And I'm just gonna go. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. And so there's this interior of like this sexual chase thing, and then this monster in the periphery of our consciousnesses. I think that we knew was going to appear sometime, but nobody. I think we played it that nobody was thinking about it. We were all distracted with one another. Certainly, I played it that way, and I think everybody else did. What do, you guys?
Jeff just wanted to get laid. That's all he
No.
wanted.
Love your dance moves, by the way.
Yeah, I know. I think Michael Jackson called me up after this movie.
What was
I
that? Like
know.
the Bee Gees? Were you dancing in your head to
There he
na
is.
na 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 na? Hey, this guy. You should have been in the. You could be like, what's his name in that movie with the dancing, Dirty Dancing? It's like, there you go.
yeah.
One thing that fans always love of Lauren is how kind of like, I don't know, forward Vicky is with Tom McBride's character and how you kind of go after him. It's like has this a sweet kind of good
Yeah.
natured quality to it. You guys
Yeah,
had a
but we
great
know what
chemistry.
she's thinking.
Yeah, I mean, there's a genuine care type of thing. She's always asking if she can help him.
Yeah.
And then there is that curiosity. And I think
Hmm.
she is an innocent. I don't think she's particularly out there in terms of her sexuality. And he is safe.
Yeah.
So by her
Wow.
looking towards him as a potential um, lover, lay, whatever you want to call it, as a camp counselor, he's safe because if it doesn't work out, it's okay. And if it does work out, super.
You did a good job. I felt that whole psychology and everything that you did, Lauren, as we move it along. It was,
Oh,
thanks for
well, that
describing
was
that.
my MO, my motivation when I was playing the character, because I was like, who is this girl? And so you have to kind of write your own story for your character because
Right.
there's no backstory. So
Right.
that was, yeah, I know. I'm sorry. I was, like NYU girl there at my acting school.
Yeah. Well, that's
Sorry.
actually great to hear because that's the kind of stuff that I think was going on in all of back of our minds, and we got better as we went along, too.
Yeah. What
Putting
was
that
your
stuff right.
character's backstory? And you had to have one in order to move forward.
It wasn't in the
Um,
script.
no, not at all. Not at all.
Does anybody still have their original script? I can't find mine to save my life.
I think
uh,
mine is in my attic, but my attic has been like painted shut uh,
Ooh.
by many. It's like The Conjuring here or something. If I go in there, that witch is going to be there, and but I do have a picture of it, and the original
Perfect.
name of the movie, remember, was Jason
Right.
on the cover of our script. The original movie was
Oh.
name of the movie was Jason, so I do have a picture of that
Oh,
Huh.
that I
wow.
took. Yeah.
Send
Oh,
us
that's great.
send us along. Yeah, I'd love to have that. Mm,
Yeah,
if
I
you
have
have
it. I have it in my scrapbook. Yeah. Oh,
right
poor
on.
Ralph. Sorry, Ralph.
Poor Ralph. Bye, Ralph. Oh.
Aw, crazy Ralph.
That was kind of a nice shot with the beautiful light there coming through the curtains.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Ooh, there's Amy sweetly sleeping. Ah,
Well, this is
she's
kind of a serious question for you guys, but at the time,
Mm-hmm.
Friday the 13th was very much chastised for having this sort of sex equals death morality. So, as young
yeah.
actors at the time, is that something you were aware of or worried about as a young actor being in the movie?
I
No.
was. I was actually. I
I was happy I was in a movie. I was happy that, hopefully it was going to be the beginning of a beautiful career. That's all I cared about.
yeah.
Being raised very Catholic, it made total sense for me. You have sex, you're gonna die.
So I was safe.
That's right.
Stu was safe.
Oh yes, Stu, you're really safe.
Why were you safe, Stu?
Oh, I didn't get anybody.
Ah,
That's
are you
why.
sure about that?
Yeah, come
Did you?
on. That was a great scene at the bar. What do you mean you didn't get that barmaid?
Oh, that's a good point. Although, using the beer bottles as binoculars went a long way.
It
Oh
was
my
so
god.
charming.
Yeah.
I I,
Was
I
that
would
an
have
ad
bought
lib, Stu?
I would have
What?
bought you a drink.
Stu was using the beer bottles as binoculars. Was that an ad lib?
Yes.
Was that? Aha, great.
You
She
know what?
might let me do anything I came up with.
That's great. Comic genius for our movie.
Oh, look at the weenies on the fire. You know what? It's hard to.
I love that cut
It's
from the dog to the hot dogs.
yeah,
I
yeah.
love that cut.
Yes.
Yeah, like the little hard weenies on the fire. I don't know what to say. It's like post Me Too now. So yeah, it was a big question. Now it is, but then it wasn't because it was pre-AIDS and pre-everything, you know.
Right.
And it was kind of Love the One You're With too. There was that going on after, that theme song and
Yeah.
with the eagle flies with the dove.
Well, it's funny too because the screenwriter told me that. I mean, he's like, what are kids going to be doing at a camp? Like, it wouldn't be realistic if all you guys were like not partying and trying to hook up because that's what kids do at 18, 19 years old. So,
Absolutely. Yeah. You flirt with everybody, even the dog. Oh, look at the way Amy's holding that saw. Does she actually have an extended steel weenie or something? She's going to get after this monster, man.
It's really macho.
Yeah, it is.
A
I
little
love the short
phallic.
shorts.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's too bad that everybody in this film looks so horrible.
I love this. The only reason why I didn't go into the water here was because I couldn't swim, and it drove Steve Miner crazy. He's like, go into the water. And I said, I can't. And he said, why not? I said, I can't swim. And he just looked at me like, what? And that's why I'm in that scene with Stu and Tom
it's
and
perfect
Amy.
that you're sitting next to
Tom.
Tom
It
there.
did work out. Yeah, it did work out. But it was really a child of me not being able to swim, being
Mm.
from the Bronx and never learning how to swim.
Have you learned now?
I tried. I went to our local pool and had a private teacher for 6 weeks. And at the end of 6 weeks, she said to me, I've never said this to anyone before, but you can't swim. And that's why I'm there.
I love this scene. I love it when
I
Stu
love it
jumps
too.
down. Stu's so funny.
Brown and sits on a piano.
Total ad lib. Your face line, by the way. Total ad lib.
Was Steve Miner open to that? Was he an encouraging director in that sense?
He did for that scene. I think he was so upset that I couldn't get into the water with the rest of the counselors and potentially ruined the script for that particular scene. That he was just like, all right, whatever, Lauren.
So just as a side note, and I think that actually Steve talks about this in his Steve Miner, that this walking in the woods was the first scene that he ever filmed.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
How's that possible, though?
Really?
How's that
Well,
possible? Because he filmed the truck. I mean, we were in the
yeah,
truck.
yeah. I mean, he filmed obviously stuff before. He did like industrial shorts and things. But he said that as a feature film director, this was the first scene that you guys shot. So
But when did we do the driving in the truck? Of course, continuity. Who knows when we did that?
Yeah.
must have been after.
Yeah. Yeah, it could have been
It
after.
seems like you guys now watching it again that you've walked miles.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Well, and the thing was that we had no dialogue, nothing really going on, and it's like, okay, Jesus, what the hell do we do? Like,
Typical hiking, though, with your partner.
Mm-hmm.
I love the teeth. I love the
Oh, yeah,
teeth on that,
look at
whatever it is.
that the crest white strip.
wild animal. What the? What? Oh, who killed it was a wild animal. Okay.
Although it's weird because
I thought I was commenting that Muffin looked like a wild animal. Obviously not. Okay.
Yeah.
Like
I
Jefferson
love the
was smart.
spanking new New York Yankees hat on him. You could tell it's not his hat, but for some reason they gave him a New York Yankees hat. Do you guys know why?
No, not at all.
No, it's weird.
To set it that it was in New York. I mean, in theory, where is Crystal Lake supposed to be? Has it ever been given a location other than Crystal
no,
Lake?
no. I mean, the first movie, there's signs that says, in the background of like certain things that's New Jersey, but it's never explicitly stated. I think they probably intended it to be sort of like anywhere USA and make it scarier. Every state has a Crystal Lake, right?
The truck you drove,
Yeah.
the truck you drove said had New Jersey plates too.
Mm.
Oh, did it? Wow.
Mm.
You're a better observer than I am.
But looking at a lot of this stuff. I mean, I was just not around for the filming of it to interact with people on or off the set. A lot of it.
Now, did you come up later than the rest of us and leave earlier? I mean, did you have other commitments?
No, I think that I came up right when we did, all the stuff at the lodge. I think
Right.
it was at the beginning. I think that was the beginning of our shoot. At least for me, it was the beginning.
Huh.
But I was one of the first to die, so I also didn't stay as long as other people.
Huh. Yeah.
Did you? And you didn't have to come back for reshoots?
I don't think so. I don't remember that.
Oh,
No.
come on. Reshoots? Who did reshoots? They barely did 2 takes. Everything was 1 take.
Yeah. See,
There were reshoots in early November, I think, or late October. and
Up at the lake?
I had to go up for one day. Yeah, I had to go up for one day. I don't remember. Again, it was so long ago. I don't remember which one it was. It could have been something as simple as walking out of the cabin, but I had to
Wow.
do a reshoot. Yeah.
Wow.
Mhm. Oh,
Huh.
And
well, Steve,
Amy and Warrington and Steve Dash also had to go back in late October, early November for a reshoot.
I bet you Warrington loved that.
Yeah, probably.
I'm sure. Well, that's why
yeah, they,
Amy's hair length is different in the very end. It varies a little bit if you take a close look at it, but you have to take a very close look at it.
That's very close.
now,
Hmm.
do you guys have any insight on the Warrington Gillette Steve Dash kind of controversy? Who played who and who played which Jason and all that?
Well,
Yeah.
I find it very interesting that Steve Dash, who was Steve Dankowitz
Yes.
on the set, that he has made a career being Jason in this film,
Yeah.
and any crew member that was around that would put on the
Hmm.
shoes
Yep.
and the shirt and the jeans were Jason in that shot. So
Yes.
I don't know how he ended up making a career out of it.
Yeah, it's
I think
so.
it was because he went through the window. You know, Warrington started through the window, and that was one of the reshoots, by the way. And then with the glass breaking, that's when they brought in Steve, and that's where
Yeah,
he
that was.
claimed it. But coming down the steps with my feet, that was not Steve Dash or Warrington. Stabbing, in the bedroom with you and
Right.
Marta
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah. I think
me,
that
that was
was
not Steve or
no, and
Warrington. It was just one of the guys.
I think, like you said, that when he comes through the window, it's such an iconic shot that he just attached him. Everyone attached him to being the Jason.
Yeah, and he
Right, but
because
Warrington did do it first. He did do it first.
He did do it first. Okay.
now. So
yeah,
Yeah,
this is my question. Warrington, didn't go through the window. What did he do? Put on the makeup,
right. He
bounce
did.
off, and then switch. I don't get it. How do they cut that?
yeah.
Well,
So it's
Warrington did go through the window, apparently.
Yeah.
He went through the window, and then I think he got cut or injured, and then Steve took over.
Oh, okay. So he did the
That's
retake.
the folklore of us. I don't know if
yeah.
you guys know anything different.
No, no.
Steve Myers said Warrington did the date most of the daylight stuff, and then he claimed to be more of a stuntman than he was. So he, like you said, Lauren, he first went to the window. He hit the upper thing and actually started crying in the makeup. So all this snot and goo was coming out of the makeup. And they had to redo it two more times, I think. And so then Steve Dash mostly did the nighttime stuff, but Steve did do like some of the key stunts. So he got the Jason
I
stunt
love
double
this
credit.
look
So
that I give
Right,
you,
right.
Russ, when you say your line. It's just it's
mhm.
so obvious. It's such an obvious pickup line.
That's terrific. That's great. Well, you going for the move, Lauren?
Yeah, but like Bill said, there were so many people wearing the overalls and the flannel shirt and carrying us and stabbing us and walking. It really was a bunch of, the guys on the crew. And,
Wow.
God bless them for doing that, for working overtime and not getting it their union cards for actors for that.
Well, yeah, I mean, you look at the beginning, and it's a woman playing Jason's legs, so
Yeah.
it's cool.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah. So,
So the one thing that I loved, and of course, is I don't know if you can hear it there, but as we're walking in the door, and Steve Miner, to his credit, let me keep it because I said it a few times to Tom in the wheelchair. I said, "Let's go, Scooter."
Scooter,
I
yeah.
called Tom McBride Scooter. Of course, you could never get away with that now.
Oh,
No, no.
I did not know that that was an ad lib. Wow.
Yeah.
And they kept it in. Very cool. So, Bill and Russell, do you guys remember that when they filmed this scene at that roadhouse, we all went with them?
Yes, absolutely. I was there. In fact,
Yeah.
I'll point it out later, but I actually run through the scene after I'm dead.
Are we just hanging out in the
Uh,
roadhouse in a different room? Like just
yeah, we're in a different room eating. Yeah, we were in it, and they had the fake rain outside.
yeah.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Kirsten's gonna go for that swim.
Nips up.
Don't do it. Come on,
Oh,
don't do it.
Let's see.
I'm
What's
just
that?
thinking about, is Russell going to chase me now? I hope so.
I'm just a pervert hiding in the woods.
Oh, yeah, you are. I totally had a crush on you. I was wondering if you were going to come. I was thinking about, I looked back. No, I don't know if you're going to come. I'm just going to go swim and come back naked and, whatever. Not thinking about any monsters. I was thinking about Russell. Scott in the movie.
Weren't you really the only full nudity in the film?
Uh, I guess so.
Yeah.
Marta
Uh,
was, but
Yeah,
then they cut it out.
they had a scene with me naked, but
Did the
Did it
rest of
make the
the
final cut?
uh, no, I wouldn't do it.
There she goes.
Is Scott coming?
There you
Was
go.
that water cold, Kirsten? I have to imagine it was.
Well, it was the first. This is where Steve Miner just got a little crazy. He realized it was like the beginning of winter because it had snowed the night before, and said we got to get that, lake shot with Kirsten, and it was like going to be icy the next day.
Well,
So
I don't know how you
I
did
had to
that.
rehearse that. I rehearsed it several times, several different ways, and we got the pace. And then he told me beforehand not to turn around when I got out and got my clothes and started to dry until he said go. When I went into I rehearsed it, blocked it, went in like every time, every rehearsal, every blocking. They cleared the set. They said private set. I said, "Hey, everybody back in. I feel too cold." I really did. I wanted my family, you guys, because here we'd been together a long time. And then, you were everybody was clear, and then I went in that water, and I was prepared for it, and been in cold water before. It was cold, and it gets cold in California in the Pacific, you guys. So I
Yeah.
swam in the ocean, so it was natural actually, and I went in and came back out a couple times, and they dried me off with an airplane engine, jet engine, you know, turned it around, blasted it against me, dried me off in like 30 seconds or less. I went in 5 times, blasted off each time. Then I went in, came back out, and we had the piece rehearsed where I was supposed to go up to and find Scott
well,
and find up by
you're
his
back in
feet.
the water now. There you are.
Boy.
Right now, I'm pulling your clothing.
I figured you might. I don't know, but I was kind of mad at you because you didn't come earlier. So
I I was watching Amy swim naked somewhere else.
I figured I was trying my
Now,
hardest to
Kirsten, how
keep.
old were you when we did this?
I think I was around 20,
Okay.
but I don't know when it was released. But uh, I hadn't seen part one yet, and like I say, they just called me,
Right.
and I was SAG actress, done some other things, lots of other things, crazy. But this just got so much promotion, and I was like 20, 21, something like that. I felt like I was a little older, in my little like think about it
Now,
writing type of thing in the
this is
beginning.
the thing that
Ah.
amazes me, Russ, is
Yes.
the fact that Jason had enough wherewithal to set up this trap for you.
Right. Exactly. And he knew exactly
Okay.
that I would come to that spot.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
How convenient. At how ingenious that Jason is to set up this whole trap.
Right. And that one of us will be in that section of the woods and right.
Yes. How did he know that you were going to walk on that path?
Oh, we had spoken first.
Oh, okay.
He also had
Down.
nothing better to
I
do,
think
so there were multiple traps everywhere.
I think I was upside down here for about 45 minutes to an hour, I believe. And of course, I had the prosthetic on my neck that was pre-slit open since they were using the machete in the wrong side. Uh,
That is so weird why they did it.
Wow.
yeah. And then the guy in the tree had a tank full of blood. And once the blade came and I leaned back, he started pumping away, and the blood just kept flowing. But as we discussed, they cut it, unfortunately, before it got too messy. I was afraid that it was going to get into my eyes, it would be difficult to continue the scene, but they actually had to cut it before that. But they said, let's do it in one take.
So your neck is already slit here?
Yes, it's got the prosthetic on it already.
Wow, man, it's really.
Actually, you know what? Actually, looking at it, that's a good question. Maybe I don't have it on there yet.
I will say that is the hardest one for me to watch. Hanging upside down and having your neck cut, that is the most difficult murder scene in our entire movie that I really get the willies from and can't watch it.
Oh, really? Wow.
I love you, Russell Todd. I love you.
I love you too.
Anytime anybody gets their throat slit in a movie, it is tough.
Usually very disgusting. Yeah. Well, you know, Spirit of Your Back is not as wonderful either. It's not terrific.
No, but you barely see it, so it's too bad because Tom Fullerton did a great job with the effect.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah,
but I have heard rumor that scene is available somewhere.
Wow.
Now this guy in the white shirt that's dancing on the floor, that looks like it could be Todd Miner, doesn't it?
Like who?
Yes.
Steve Miner. Doesn't it look like it could be Steve Miner? Sorry, Steve
You're
Miner.
right. But he looks too tall. That was a crowded, crazy scene.
Wow. Look at that place.
Let's try to find us somewhere in the background. Oh, there's that guy. Who's that guy? The bald guy, that local guy with the red shirt.
Yes.
Who is that guy?
I don't know, but he was an extra and became a star.
He was a local, yeah.
He was a local guy.
Yep.
So Ted, what do you have to say about this?
I'm drunk.
Now, we're in the show.
Did you guys really drink beer during this shot? Is that like real beer you're drinking?
Ted, you didn't drink anything, right?
Ted, were you drinking?
I don't think so.
Uh-huh.
But there's a chance that I was. I don't trust my own memory.
It's interesting. There's kind of like, there's the head counselors, Amy Steele and John Fury. Then there's you guys, and then there's that third group of counselors that don't have any lines in the movie. They're like kind of always in the background. Did you guys interact with them at all?
And what happens to them? Or do they all die, or do they all just stay dancing until they drop? I mean,
I remember very little interaction, except, in group scenes, if they were there, just some small chat. But otherwise, they weren't there that often for us to talk to.
No.
Yeah, they had their own cabin. But yeah, we were all friendly, though, I will say.
I was wondering if there's ever any jealousy on the set. They're like jealous of you guys. You guys got the speaking parts. But,
well, I think many. Well, the extras, of course, were not jealous. But I don't. When you're have less of a role in the show, and we all have had that, believe me. I don't think you're ever jealous. You're enjoying watching it. You're just thrilled to be there and to be part of it.
Yeah, I mean, my dog works, and he does a lot of TV shows like Manifest and Prodigal Son and whatnot, and it's kind of fun because he gets the cue to walk, and I'm the walker, and I'm like, oh, great, okay, my dog is on camera. Here we go.
That's terrific.
Now, if you're the walker, do they have to pay you, as a union actor, do they have to pay you?
Yeah, they have to pay both of us. Yeah, it's kind of funny. It's
cool.
a funny gig to have. Yeah, in this day and age.
My dog lays here on the floor. I need to speak to you.
Yeah, who's your dog's agent?
Yeah.
Yeah, Hi.
Oh, don't go up the stairs, Bill.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah, right. It's like Jack Marks. But, although I tell you, it's not like I'm opening doors in this tinfoil shed. I'm actually going up the stairs to jump in bed with Sandra. So
Well, that's the interesting thing about the early Friday the 13th is no one really knew who Jason was yet. So there's no reason for these kids to be scared or, that they're not really doing stupid things. They're just, doing what you would normally be doing because you have no idea Jason's out there at this
That,
point in the movie.
yeah.
well, the only time it becomes stupid is when Amy comes back and sees all the bloody bodies all over the place. Then it becomes stupid. But up to that point, nobody had any idea that anything was wrong.
That's true. Yeah,
Yeah.
people always
That's
ask me,
true.
why did you guys go back to a camp where, Jason was? And I said, well, we, just like you said, we never knew that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so here I am again, and I'll tell you, look at where my eyes are. Look at where I'm looking.
Right?
Where am I looking? And then all of a sudden,
It just looks like you're looking off, Bill.
look, I'm
You know,
looking
like
off, and then she comes. She comes from the other side of the bed. For God's sakes!
Yeah, no, that is strange. It is.
oh, you know me. I'm gonna look for an excuse for everything. It looks like you were daydreaming.
It's funny
Okay,
too.
how
Because
hot? How
I
hot is this? I'm just saying.
well, thank you very much, but
You're welcome.
see, the thing that's funny too is that the harmonica, which was I don't know whether it was a set dressing or what it was, or whether it just happened to be there, or whose it was, or anything. But I just happened to pick it up, and I happened to play it for those few seconds, and I've never picked up a harmonica again. And yet, people at conventions always ask me, "Oh, are you still playing the harmonica?" So yes, I'm a concert musician.
You had a great relationship with Tom, right, Lauren?
Oh yeah, we did. We got along from the first moment we met in Carl Fullerton's studio, and years later he auditioned. I was on a soap opera for like 100 years called Loving, and he auditioned a couple of times for that, and I really wanted him to be on the show, and we had a few callbacks for commercials together too. Just had great chemistry. The kissing scene that we're looking at, it was easy. We agreed on how to kiss, and open mouth, no tongues, and to make it look real. And it was great. I really enjoyed
Your
working
butt
with
looks
him.
great there. I don't know
No,
why
it
they.
doesn't.
I don't.
Listen, dude,
I
it
not.
looks so much better now, how many years later?
Well,
Because I'm
okay,
a runner and a hiker, and, I got my motorcycle, so it looks so much better now. I
okay.
have a
Well,
better butt now than I did back then.
It wasn't your butt.
send me pictures so that I can compare.
It wasn't your
I
butt.
will.
It was the underwear, not your butt.
Oh,
Yeah, I
that
like I
underwear.
like the black underwear better than the stuff that you put on.
I do not know why she changed from that pretty burgundy sweater and nice underwear to the brown stuff. I don't get it. I think it was the material back then. Satin was considered sexy, but that top, ugh,
Yeah.
ugh, so sexy, baby. Yeah, no, not really. I'm sorry. I just never really felt sexy back then. Um, yeah, it was a nightmare for me to do those underwear scenes. I'm just putting it out there.
Well, you played it well.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. And I will ask a question,
Yeah.
but I won't ask it now because it's not coming up yet. But I will ask a question when it comes time.
Okay.
Oh, gosh. Oh, I'm sorry, guys, that you have to look at that buttocks.
What do you mean? You look fantastic. Give me a break.
I'm like Forrest Gump. I'm like Forrest Gump. I look at the buttocks. No, I'm covering. I'm actually, when I'm watching this with you guys, I'm covering with my hand the screen on my computer because I can't see it. I don't want to look at it. Okay. I wish I could take a picture and send it to you guys.
So the brown underwear reminds you of a box of chocolates.
Yes.
Oh.
Life is like a box of
I don't know.
chocolates.
She made the Forrest Gump, reference.
Let's leave it.
That leave it on the table. Let's go back to the rules of horror movies. What you shouldn't do in order to not get killed.
Yeah, really.
Definitely shouldn't
Okay.
never go to a camp.
Not only never go to a camp, but why is he going out onto the porch in the middle of a rainstorm?
He's worried about me getting electrocuted. Just saying.
Okay, all right. He's a good guy.
Yeah.
He's a good guy.
And he just sits here and waits to get killed.
Well,
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
also, you'd think he'd see
Oh.
Jason coming up and jumping at him with a machete. But...
Oh.
Sorry, that gets me every time.
Yeah, that to me is the most painful.
Oh, great cut.
Painful for me.
Mm-hmm. Wasn't this originally longer, Bill? Like a longer sex scene? That you
Yeah, I mean, actually, and fortunately, unfortunately, you don't see it, but fortunately for me, they had the camera dollying all the way up the bed, so we had quite some time to pretend carnal knowledge.
Wow.
I like the way you put that.
But
So you don't hear him coming up the stairs, right?
what are you kidding?
I'm just messing
about,
with you.
I ain't thinking about nothing else but Sandra.
Carnal knowledge.
Exactly. Besides, he's so quiet. I don't know who this guy is, but he's very good. He's very quiet. He
And the
sneaks up the
steps
stairs.
are
And
awesome.
for whatever reason, the stairs do not creak.
Yeah, they don't. They don't. It's so awesome.
It is.
Is that a wig, Bill?
Oh, come on. Oh, man. Ouch, that hurts.
No, it's not.
John Fury has great hair, but I'm wearing a wig.
Her reaction is amazing.
Okay, now you notice I'm already dead. Oh, shoot, that's not the scene yet. Here we go.
There's that guy with the red shirt. There he is.
Absolutely, absolutely. He became a star.
So you do a walk by here?
It's coming up, yeah. I thought it was there, but actually it's after they go out and get into the car.
Wow, it looks like half of Def Leppard is there. REO Speedwagon.
Okay, here we go.
Come
Here
on.
we go.
Let's
Yeah,
see.
now you notice, see that person right next to the red Volkswagen that just ran by?
Yeah.
And now he's running up the stairs and into
That's
the.
you?
That's me. That is me. That took me a long time to convince Steve Miner that.
Did they laugh when you ran by them?
No, I don't think they paid any attention to me at all. I guess if I had slugged John, it might have made more of an impact.
I love Stu there. Oh, look at me with my nice sweater on. So sexy with my mom pants.
Put
Oh,
your
gosh.
put your pants on.
Ugh,
You have
you
pants
guys
on.
are horrible.
But
You guys are horrible.
when did you put your pants on? I don't remember you actually putting pants on. All I remember
When
are
SpongeBob told me to, okay?
I know, but it's like all I remember are the box of chocolates underwear.
I'm just going to ask, why am I going upstairs looking for Mark? I'm going to ask that. I always do. I don't understand. Mark, are you in there?
No, really.
See, now she's checking you guys out. She's like, oh, I want to watch. Can I watch?
It's
Sandra,
true.
Jeff, can I watch?
This film has a whole new meaning.
How could he ever get up to the second floor? How could he have ever gotten up to the second floor?
teleporting. Ah, Sackhead.
Oh,
I love that Bill's there. He's like, I'm just hanging out here.
That's right.
how long were you hanging out there, Bill?
I mean, certainly I had the makeup and the sheet on kind of for hours, but I, you know,
It was quick.
essentially, once they would start shooting, I would just, you know, stoop down and hang from my neck,
Yeah.
for just for this shot. So I wasn't uncomfortable at any time.
Actually, I want to ask you, it's kind of a silly question, but I mean, what is it like to die on camera, like to make those facial expressions? Because it's not something you ever experience in your life, obviously. So you have to kind of like invent that all the death throes and things like that.
You make you make believe.
Growing up in the Bronx, it's like,
Yeah.
it's imagining what it would be like, if somebody stabbed you in the Bronx. No, I'm just kidding. No, I actually
But we love
was.
Bronx. All of you
I was.
viewers who live in the Bronx, we love
I
you.
lived. I grew up in the Bronx. I was actually attacked by somebody on my bicycle with a knife um, when I was about 12, 13 years old, and so this was kind of like that reaction of like,
Wow.
ah! I'm not going to do the full scream, obviously, but you just kind of do the scream, and it's fun. It's I hate to say it, but it's actually fun to do a horror movie. I don't know. How do you feel, Kirsten, about that? It's fun to do it,
Oh, I
right?
love it. I mean, it was just one of the highlights of my life, and all the stuff you
You
guys
get
are
your
describing.
yayas out in terms of screaming, right?
Oh, at least that.
It's not really fun
It's
to.
just, it's
Uh,
a great ensemble. It's so great to hear you guys take on it as adults and what we were really thinking underneath it all, and what an ensemble we really had underneath, because we never got to discuss this together, did we?
no, no.
No.
No, never.
But
True.
how cool to now that we know we were part of something that when we were doing it, we were only the second one, but now to be part of a franchise that
Yeah.
that is so popular and will be in perpetuity. It's wild. It's really amazing.
Truly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Truly.
I think that ours was like one of the more innocent ones, and therefore one of the best, because we could just play ourselves, and
Right.
with a little bit of like spite thrown in because we actually knew what we were doing. Wink, wink.
Agreed.
But right, so you're right, Lauren. It was just a blast. Ah, God, so much fun. I got a tear in my eye.
I think that I
especially when,
think that
Aw.
and I also
especially,
think that we were very lucky in terms of the fact that we were all up, staying at one camp and
yeah,
shooting a mile away on another camp, and
yeah,
we're all, we didn't have any other distractions.
Yeah.
It was a great community.
We also
yeah.
Yeah,
used to
we
scare
were
each
all in. We
we
were
used to
all
scare
in.
each other. I remember walking back from the main lodge down there. Remember there was a road and there was trees on both sides, and I would walk back to my cabin or wherever we were, and you'd hear in the bushes, kill, 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 kill.
Yeah.
Some of the crew members would try to scare you, so we got to know each other very well.
No,
Yeah.
you guys were the worst shitheads because you knew that I was from New York City, and I don't know, I think it was Stu, and
Yes, it
you
was
guys
Stu
knew
and
I was
I.
moving into the cabin,
We
and
s-
you
we.
started
s-
scratching at the screen, and I passed out. I fainted 100%. And you guys were total shitheads for doing that to me. I was like, this girl's from New York City. Let's scare the shit out of her. And I fainted. I think I
Well,
called my agent after that. Just kidding.
I guess it worked.
Yeah.
It totally worked, but yeah, we were scared to death after that.
I think I got in trouble for going over to the boys' cabin and trying to pull a prank that I remembered from summer camp, which was not that long ago. And I think I got pulled back by the AD or something like that. Like, you can't
Yeah.
do that. Get back to your trailer. You're not. The trailer was actually the where the sleeping bag and the bunk beds
Yeah.
were.
Mhm.
Oh my God!
I was trying to get over to you guys quote trailer to pull a prank on you, because it was so much fun. I mean, we were doing what we were doing, and behind the movie behind the movie was actually like so much more fun than actually than anybody knows. There's a movie behind the movie going on for sure.
So I see you guys were not on set for the filming of this, right? So what did you guys think when you first saw the completed movie and all the stuff that you weren't around for?
I thought it was great. I had a good time when I saw it.
Yeah, it was very cool to see it put together and see the other stuff. I mean, as an actor, you're often not there for most of it, so it was nice to see the rest put together.
And not only that,
Yeah.
but it was great to actually see your own stuff cut together.
Yeah,
Yeah, I thought Amy did a wonderful job. She was 100% for this. I
Yeah.
loved her. Yeah, terrific.
yeah, she really registered fear.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
she talked.
loved her. She was very authentic.
Hmm.
Yeah, she talked thinking of Steadicam. That one of the interesting things she said was, I didn't realize this. She had to kind of run fast and slow because she always had to stay about like 3 feet from the moving camera. She couldn't
Sure.
outrun it. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
distance proper, sure.
Mm.
And certainly that's true with dolly shots too. That you have to be aware of the depth of field and the focus,
That's
And
right.
I
especially at
think
night.
Amy's at oh sorry. I think Amy's athleticism really helped her in this because she was able to really go for this and
Yeah.
be completely physical in this role towards the end of the movie.
Yeah, it's very demanding, extremely.
Yes. Yeah. And she was 100% up for it.
Yeah.
I think she
Yeah.
was the best final girl. I will say that.
Well, she was like one of the first female heroines, like in this genre at least, in
Hmm.
that day and age, and she really had the psychology all built, like I said. And then what she has said about it in her interview sometimes, and when you look at it, is that Jason was like an innocent guy. I mean, he was a little poor innocent child that didn't measure up in his mind to the camp counselors and the people that he was around, and never would. So she built in this whole empathetic part, that Lauren you had, and but also that was really an important part that was built in the movie by Amy.
Yeah.
That he didn't deserve what he did. He was born, disfigured,
Mhm.
and that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
I can't quote Amy. That's why I'm kind of going low.
And the
But
way they morphed her face with Betsy Palmer's face
Oh
was
yeah, that was
Sure.
great.
just
Great.
crazy.
That was good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the thing is that you see Jason behind the sack being
Yeah.
being very sympathetic.
yeah, that's true.
Was there a moment in time for you guys? Because you do the movie. I'm sure you go on and do other things. Years go by. Was there a moment though when you started to realize that Friday 13th had developed such a huge cult audience and become this big thing?
It wasn't really until the conventions that I realized that there was such a fan base that was going generation by generation.
Yeah. I think, I mean, after, 4 and 5 were released, I realized this thing is, will never, doesn't seem to die. It'll just keeps going. It has great legs. And, and then the conventions too, and it reinforced that. And then I'm sure all of us, we still get mail from people requesting autographs or pictures, and it just has an incredible life of its own. It's really
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, I didn't do any conventions because I didn't know about them because I guess people didn't know how to get a hold of me. And somehow Warrington got my number, and I just happened to be in the city. And it was one of the Monster Manias or one of the conventions at the Javits Center.
Mhm.
And he said, "You have to come here right now." And
Wow.
I said, "Well, why?" And he said, "Well, we're doing this and you can meet fans." And I'm like, "Oh, okay. I can meet fans." I did that all the time when I was on the soap opera. I traveled all around the world, meeting fans. And so I went and I was just so flabbergasted. And we love meeting fans. You guys have to admit,
Oh
you
yeah.
love it.
It's
It's
always fun.
just
It's great.
great.
The energy is
It
great. It's just
it
a
is.
experience.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's nothing more fun than reminiscing
yeah.
about your 15 minutes.
And the memorabilia that our fans and friends bring, they bring things that we've never seen. Between the bobbleheads and the posters,
Yeah,
international posters, it's just great. I really miss that. We're talking in 2020
Yeah,
during COVID.
yeah.
So whoever is listening to this down the line, this is when we're talking. But it's something that we really miss is meeting you guys and just
yeah,
connecting and sharing experiences and your love of the genre.
Right. And it's great to see the pleasure that you, as the fans, get out of this. I mean, that means a great deal to us.
the thing is that since the fact that this has had a life beyond anybody's wildest dreams, that going to conventions, I have spent more time with Amy and with John, and
Yeah.
you know, and you too, Lauren. That a friendship has grown because of that, which would have never
Hmm.
happened, uh,
Right.
Hmm.
having
Absolutely.
just done the film.
Yeah.
Absolutely. A lot of people ask, have you seen everybody since doing the film? And originally, I would say no. But since doing conventions, I say, yeah, I've seen Bill
Yeah,
and John, Warrington once in a blue moon,
yeah.
Amy, Kirsten, um, Marta, and of course, of course, you handsome devil, Russell.
I've only been to a couple, actually, but when
We
things
were at
change,
one together.
yeah, yes, we did. The big one,
Mhm.
I forget where we were, but it was a,
I think it
Horror
was,
Hound, I think.
yeah, horror hound. But that
Yeah,
was
Minneapolis.
at this point. At this
yes.
point, how long ago was that? That was a few years at this point.
Oh, yeah,
Like
definitely.
3 years ago. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I'm sure you never expected 40 years ago when you did this movie that, I mean, you'd be here today talking about it.
Definitely not. Definitely not.
No, not at all. I went up there for the reshoot of this, but I don't think you can see me in this scene. But I was part of the reshoot for that
Huh.
scene.
Wow.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah.
So, Lauren, were you actually laying around the altar then? Or
Yeah,
was
I
your
was
body
laying
there?
around.
Ah.
But you don't see me, so I don't know if it was cut or if they used a previous edit of it.
Where are the rest of the
Yeah.
bodies? Like, where would my body be at this point? Or
Yeah. Really.
Tom, or anyone I
Muffin ate you.
That's great. No, Muffin is still alive.
know?
Muffin comes back.
Also, a little factoid. Steve Miner said that he was unable to shoot the footage of Mrs. Voorhees talking that they superimposed here. So he
Right.
called his friend Wes Craven, and Wes Craven actually shot that footage.
Well, that's very
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
That
interesting.
is
yeah.
cool.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Very cool.
So when you went back to do this reshoot, how many was it? 1 day, 2 days? How long were you there?
I was only there for 2 days.
Uh huh. Okay.
It was freezing friggin' cold.
Oh, I bet.
And yeah, that was it. And then when I watched it, I was like, why was I there? You don't see me.
Yeah.
I don't know. They had a close up of Kirsten. I don't know what happened to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah. That's okay. I'm dead, so.
I'm just happy they cut me into. Did you guys get cut into part 4? Your death scenes?
I don't think so.
Yeah. I
I
got
haven't
cut
got. I
for
haven't gotten any
straight.
residuals from it, so I don't know. Maybe.
We'll
Oh
talk.
crap!
Yeah, we'll talk after.
Yeah, I think Amy was telling me that she gets sometimes more money for the use of the clips in other movies than she does from this movie itself. So they've used a lot of pieces
Really?
of this. Yeah. They used a clip of her in Mean Girls, the movie Mean Girls.
Oh,
She
yeah.
said she got more money from that movie, yeah, from the clip than this movie. So.
Oh.
Really?
You know, I I've been getting a check every year from Paramount. It's not big, but
Yep, same.
I probably have made more money in residuals than I did on the initial shoot.
Yes.
Well, hopefully when the box set comes out,
Mm.
you'll get even more money.
I actually still have the actual stubs.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've saved the stubs for my first acting job.
What a pack rat!
Um,
That's the only thing
can
I
I say I did too?
Oh
go.
my god!
So take that, Bill.
Yep.
I can't find my script though. I cannot find my original script.
I have it in my attic, but I'm afraid to go in my attic because of the spiders. It's like anacrophobia up there. But I do have the cover. I have a picture of the cover. Remember the original movie? Name was Jason.
Oh yes, yes, I do.
Yep. If you
I
have your original script, it
I
was
do
Jason on the cover.
I
Yeah.
do
Oh,
not
that's a fact that nobody knows.
I do not remember that because I can't find my script.
Yeah, I have a picture of it because I had that camera that I took pictures all over the place. And I have a picture of the script.
Wow.
So I guess because the movie's near the end, what are your kind of, I guess, all your final thoughts, each of you, on what is this meant to being in this movie and the fans and being a part of this legacy of the series?
Personally, I just thought it was one of the most terrific opportunities I had. I was new. I had only done a couple of things before that, and to have this, to do a sequel to a film already, I thought, well, this is kind of cool because I enjoyed the first one. But then to watch it grow, the franchise, and the fans are so devoted. Even today, I'm sure for all of us, we get stopped different places. People are still sending me unsolicited requests for signed photos. I love Friday the 13th. It's my favorite horror film ever. Will they make more? So I look back at it as a wonderful point in my life and something I'll always be grateful for.
Mm.
Me
Yeah,
I
and
too.
I tell you
totally agree with you.
the thing that makes it
Ditto.
the
Sorry,
thing that
Stu.
makes it even better are all the conventions. I, re-
Yes.
I really have a great time going to the conventions and meeting the fans and just talking to anybody about the movie. Uh, no matter what feeling that they have about it, and it's always positive. They're always great, and it's interesting how the different generations have reacted to the same film.
That's
Yeah,
true.
I mean,
Yeah.
when I go on Instagram, it's funny because, I have the Loving, the soap opera, and a couple of other things. And the most response I get is from our fans and friends of Friday the 13th. And I just love the pictures that they post of, like Bill said, of the conventions that we've gone to.
Oh
And
yeah.
that's something that I really miss. I mean, by the time this, box set comes out, maybe COVID-19 will be over.
And we'll all
But
get
you know
together
what?
again.
We all
Yes.
need to get together again and
Yes.
meeting the fans and knowing that, you know, we did this movie when we were so young
Yes.
and
Yeah.
it's meant so much to so many people and I'm so proud to be a part of it. I just
Mm.
Yes,
I've
truly.
learned to embrace it. I've learned to embrace it.
Absolutely.
Oh, you're so
Yeah.
great, Lauren. Thank you so much for saying that. I so
Really.
relate to what you're saying. I kind of needed
Yeah.
direction because some of the other ones spun in different directions, but ours was really iconic in so many ways.
It'd be interesting to find out if everybody on the first Friday the 13th, part one, whether they had the same kind of communal feeling that we all had.
I mean, we've all worked on other sets, of course, and we know that you do become families, especially if you're on something
Yeah.
more term, even more, maybe even more a TV series where you're on, you know, for a long, long time. But you do become a family, and I
Yeah.
think
Yeah. Right
it's
away.
one of the
We did.
terrific aspects of being in this industry that you have this extended family, and we had a great one.
It's just this particular episode was so special because we were on set for 3 months and we were family and we did professionally chide each other into one doing one another's parts even better and better as the time went around. I felt.
So, do you guys have any parting quick thoughts for the fans watching this? Goodbyes.
Just extremely grateful. Thank you for being part of this, ours and all of the others, for all of these years, and for engaging us wherever you see us. And again, like Bill said, at the conventions, it means a great deal to us because this was a special moment in our lives too, and we're thrilled that it impacts you, the audience, in the way that it does.
You guys are part of our family too. We love seeing you. Keep coming.
Absolutely, yeah. One big happy family.
Yeah, thank you guys all for joining us, and it was a thrill, and I know fans are going to love this. So, goodbye, everybody.
Thank you
Goodbye,
so much.
goodbye.
It was a pleasure.
Thank you.
Love you
Thank you.
guys.